This is Mike. Mike likes to do things the easy way. Recently, Mike read that My Account, the Canada Revenue Agency's secure portal, lets Canadians across the country view and manage their tax and benefit affairs quickly, conveniently, and securely, all online. Mike thinks this seems like a good idea, so he found a quiet spot on his lunch break and engaged the power of technology to help him manage his tax and benefit information. With a few clicks of his mouse and a few strokes of his keyboard, Mike began registering for My Account. Mike started at the My Account webpage at canada.ca/my-CRA-account. Mike has the option of choosing from two ways to register for My Account. He can register and create a CRA user ID and password, or he can log in using a sign-in partner. Mike uses online banking on a regular basis, so he chooses to use the sign-in partner option. He logs in with the information that he already uses with his bank, making his experience that much easier. After entering a few details to ensure his privacy is protected, like his social insurance number, date of birth, current postal code, and an amount from his last tax return, Mike has instant, secure access to some of his tax and benefit information, like the status of his tax return and a summary of his notice of assessment. He can also sign up for online mail. Within a week or two, Mike will receive a letter in the mail from the CRA with his CRA security code. Mike can also call the CRA to get his code earlier. Once Mike enters this code, he will have full access to even more information through My Account, including details about his tax returns and benefits. Now, Mike can do everything from updating his address, to checking on the status of his refund, to printing proof of income, to setting up direct deposit, and much more. He can also log in and check some of his information on the go using the My CRA web app. Now that's easy. If Mike used his security code to fully register for My Account, he can also use the CRA's autofill My Return service when he files online using certified software that includes that feature. Autofill My Return automatically fills in certain parts of his income tax and benefit return. What could be easier? But Mike thinks the best thing about My Account is that he can access the information he needs anytime, anywhere. Perfect for someone with such a busy life. Make your life easier and be like Mike. Sign up for My Account. You'll have access to the CRA's full suite of self-service options and see firsthand how the CRA is delivering on its commitment to client-focused service. Find out more at canada.ca/my-CRA-account.
There you have it. Doesn't Canada Revenue make it sound so easy to register for their accounts? Welcome everybody to the Wednesday Dollar Tax Club member webinar here, sponsored by MrTaxes.ca. I see we have a few of our associates on the call today. Brent is going to be coming on later. Will be our co-host talking about the BC Small Business Recovery Grants. How to apply for those. We're going to have all the details, so stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking about updates on the Canada Emergency Business Account. That is the now $60,000. Yes, you heard it, $60,000 loans being given out by the federal government. But how do you apply for those? That's what you're going to be tuning in for here tonight, to get all those details, find out how to get through all the hoops that Canada Revenue puts in front of us. They never make things easier, do they? So we'll get going with the details for tonight's webinar. Going to have our special guest, Brent Edwardson from MrInsurance.ca. We'll have his contact info up later as well to talk about some of the strategies using corporate-owned life insurance to get your money out of your corporation tax-free. Wouldn't you love to know how to do that? I know Brent's itching to get on here, so let's jump right into it. We'll do some more introductions and, of course, formalities. We'll have an agenda so you know what's going to be going on with this webinar, so you can tune in and out. You're not going to want to tune out too much, though, because tonight's going to be all about money. We're going to be talking about updates from Royal Bank. These loans being given out are facilitated by the lending institutions in Canada. So the lending institutions are doling out money being provided by the federal government. But how do you apply for these? What are the hoops? What are the hurdles? What are the criteria for applying? And Small Business BC is now facilitating the provincial recovery grants. So what are the criteria for those? That is up to $30,000 for the Small Business BC recovery grant and up to $15,000 additional funding for tourism-related businesses. You saw the video at the beginning. If you tuned in, we'll have it playing again during the webinar. So that's how to apply for your My Account with Canada Revenue. You're going to need access to My Account to be able to get through and get access to your My Business account. You're going to want to take note of that. If you don't already have access, you'll be able to watch this on the replay, but pay attention to some of the tips and tricks they have for getting set up with your account. We can assist with that as well at MrTaxes. Reach out to one of our associates if you need help with that. But accessing your account for your through your business number for all of your information, you're going to need that to apply for the Small Business Recovery Grant. And the best part about this is you don't have to produce all these documents yourself. The BC government through Small Business BC has enlisted the help of up to 100 accountants, facilitators to help with these applications, and MrTaxes.ca Inc. has been approved as a provincial facilitator for the Small Business BC recovery grants. So if you're looking to get access to those grants, reach out to us. We'll have information throughout the webinar tonight. And corporate tax tip, Brent will be on towards the end here talking about his assistance with the BC recovery grants, and also the number one corporate tax tip that we have is corporate-owned life insurance, and Brent will shed some light on that. And then, of course, we always have Q&A at the end. So one of my favorite accounting jokes, because you tune into these episodes, of course, for the jokes. Well, there's three types of accountants. There's those that can count and those that cannot. If you need a calculator for that one, then I don't think you'll be working for us this tax season. Anyway, what, where, why, and who we are. MrTaxes has been around for a little while, almost 36 years now, since 1984. So just over 36 years. The trademark backdated to 1984, registered with the Canadian Intellectual Property Office. We were presenters for CCH.ca on their annual webinar. They're the owners of CanTax Software, and they print most of the financial publications for post-secondary education institutions throughout North America and around the world, for that matter. They're related companies or foreign affiliates. We did a deal on Dragon's Den in 2012. It never aired. If you want to know all the details on that one, feel free to reach out, PM me on either LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, one of the social media channels. I'll give you all the deets on that. If you're thinking about pitching on Dragon's Den, I would say go for it. If your episode does get to air, whether you do a deal or not, I'd say upwards of 100 people have reached out to me that have pitched on Dragon's Den. So it's a great community to get involved with, the small business community. And by 2014, by the time we sold out in 2015, we had 42 offices with 350 plus staff. So we do know taxes, but we did relaunch in 2018 after a 3-year non-compete. Franchising now. So we are franchising members of the Canadian Franchise Association. Favorite quote of the week: never give up. I love this image. It's all over the internet. If you want a clear, crisper image, just Google never give up or Pelican quote. It's all over the internet. But with your loans, some people have applied 2-3 times, and we have assisted with the Canada Emergency Business Account loan applications. Over 150 companies now we've helped apply, and so far success with all of them. There's a few that are still pending, but the trick is never give up on the application. They're wanting to give this money out, the federal government and the provincial government. The provincial government actually reached out last week for those facilitators on the Small Business BC Recovery Grant to ask us to reach out to our community. That's why we're replaying this webinar or repeating the webinar this week, 2 weeks in a row, about the grants, and we're talking about both of them all over again with some updates, etc. With that update as well, that we can assist you to getting approved for the Small Business BC Recovery Grant, and it does not cost you anything to enlist our services. The no tax mask. When is this mask thing going to end? A lot of businesses are being crippled now because of the state of affairs with the government not getting their story straight, etc. Some have died, some have thrived. Those that want to continue and move on and take advantage of these grants and government money, reach out to us. We've helped with the CEBA loans, with the CEWS, the CERB on the personal side, the CRB on the personal side, helping taxpayers getting logged into their accounts so they can make those applications. Just reach out to us if you need any help or assistance with any of the government grants, subsidies, loans, etc. We have, if we're not able to help with some of the grants that we haven't got involved with, we'll reach out and help you find the help you need to get those grants, those subsidies, those loans, etc. So we'll jump right into the details here. For the increased CEBA amount, it's jumped to $60,000. So if you've applied previously and been approved, it's pretty much a rubber stamp to get approved for the additional $20,000. You just go back through your financial institution and apply again. An additional $20,000 you'll be able to get for that rubber stamp, except unless you have filed a retroactive payroll. So if you applied for the loan early in 20 or mid 2020 and you had filed your payroll for 2019 late, you would have still got approved. But now they've changed the criteria. You have to have had your payroll filed by the last day of February before March 1st of 2020, or you cannot get approved for the additional $20,000. So how do you get approved for the additional $20,000? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But 50% of that additional $20,000 is forgivable, which means if it's paid back before January 1st, 2024, you only have to pay back 50% of the additional 20, 30,000 of the original 40, which totals 40,000 of the total 60,000. So 1/3 of the entire 60,000 is forgivable if it is all paid back before January 2023. So interest free until then. But if it's not all paid back on the remaining balance, it converts to a 5% loan. You can see some small details there. That was just a cut and paste from the RBC website because RBC does post things. We deal with RBC, so we have access to the back end through our account. It doesn't post, I don't think it's posting our personal financial information up there. It does have information on the CEBA loan, and your financial institution will have the same information. I'm certain that this is cut and paste that was sent out by Canada Revenue, but you'll be able to get all that information on your banking website. So let's just talk about the eligibility requirements for the CEBA or Canada Emergency Business Account. Again, this is from the RBC website, but your bank or your financial institution or the CEBA web portal will have some of this information as well. So to be eligible with RBC, of course, you have to have an RBC checking account or operating account for the business number. So if you do not have a business bank account with any institution, please reach out to me. Our bank manager has indicated that they can facilitate, and they have done this for some of our clients that did not have bank accounts, to be able to set up your account online. Those were done in under 24 hours in some cases. So if you do need a bank account set up, there's no more requirement to have a retroactive bank account set up as of March 1st. You can open a brand new bank account if your account was closed for whatever reason, or you never had a bank account for your corporation, or you let it lapse. One of the requirements I believe RBC has, though, if you have funds owing or bank fees that are owing from the closure of that account, those have to be paid up to date before they will reopen it, but that's a bank rule. And I'm sure it's the same with all the financial institutions out there. There, Marion says, hi, everyone. Brent says, hello, everyone. We're going to get Brent on here a little bit later. Marion will be coming on next week in our Tax Practice Masterclass course. It's put on through the Certified Tax Preparers program to talk about disability tax credit. So we may get Marian on towards the end here if she's still sticking on towards the end of the call. So these requirements to continue here, a Canadian operating business in operation as of March 1st, 2020. So it had to have been incorporated or a business number issued as of March 1st, 2020. Very easy to find out if yours was or not. Most of you know if it was. If not, we do have a link to the National Business Registry. We can find out for you very quick. Just send us an email, reach out to one of our associates, and we can find that out very easily. And you don't have any accounts or loans at RBC that were in arrears for 90 days or more, but I'm certain this is similar to all the other financial institutions. Will have their own internal requirements that if you're in default with them, they can't help you or facilitate those loans as they come through. So here's the features of the business account as posted on the RBC website. 60,000 government guaranteed loan to help eligible business pay for operating expenses, payroll, etc., non-deferrable expenses, which are critical. Until June 30th, 2021, it's a revolving line of credit. The loan can be repaid in part or in full at any time. So after June 30th, 2021, any outstanding balance on the revolving 60,000 line will be converted into a non-revolving term loan maturing on December 31st, 2025. So if the organization repays 40,000 of the 60,000 by December 31st, 2022, then 20,000 of that is forgivable, which means you do not have to pay it back. So even if you do not use the money for any expenses whatsoever, why not take the loan? It doesn't have to be repaid until January 2023, January 1st, 2023. That's almost a 2-year loan of $60,000. Throw it into your tax-free savings account. Of course, if you have the contribution room. The interest starts up on January 1st, 2023 on the outstanding balance. So that's just some of the details on the CEBA loan. But we're encouraging everybody who has a business number to at a minimum apply for this, because if you do borrow it, you do spend 60,000 and you pay the 40,000 back, that's 1/3 forgivable. Where else do you get a 33% return on your money for 1 year? When is the government ever going to do that again? Their bonds, I believe, are paying less than 2% now, but they're giving out this money to help stimulate the economy. Okay, so who qualifies? We talked about that. You had to have had either 20,000 in payroll in 2019 or 40,000 in non-deferrable expenses. You had to have been incorporated as of March 1st, 2020. So that's a minor error on there. So if you were incorporated in 2019, you would be eligible, but of course, for the first 3 months of 2020 as well. And again, the bank now, they've changed that. Your bank can be opened retroactively until today's date or until they change the rules again. So if you meet all the other criteria and you don't have a bank account set up, reach out to us. We can put you in touch with the RBC branch manager, and she indicated that they will help facilitate setting up a bank account remotely. All signatures, all identification remotely to help facilitate these loans. So it's not just us reaching out to the community to try and dole out this money, but the banks are jumping on board as well. I'm sure they're receiving some type of incentive for facilitating these loans because they're using their infrastructure, their credit bureau services. And again, they are going to benefit by having 5% interest start accruing January 1st, 2023, but not until then. So it'd be interesting if anybody knows how the banks are benefiting from this other than bringing on new clients and getting that 5% on those loans starting in 2023. 2 ways to get qualified. You have to have had the payroll, and that information is up on the screen here as well. Or if your payroll is 20,000 or less and it was filed before 1st of March, 2020, you do have to have 40,000 in non-forgivable expenses. So how do you do that? We're going to be talking about that in a couple of slides. But again, these slides are all available on the replay. The same email that you registered with for the webinar, you'll be able to get the replay link. It'll come out, I believe, within an hour after the webinar, and you can watch the replay. So here's some examples of what you can use for the $40,000 criteria. You could have invoice samples. I know that if it is contractors, they have some stipulations. It's not very clear on the website, but we've been applications returned to us for resubmission. And it is indicated that if it is contractors, they want to see contractors, if it's a monthly contract, invoices from February and March of 2020. So make sure and have copies of all your documentation. And again, if you need help with the CEBA loan, the government is not paying us to assist with these, but we do have an offer to make, and we'll show you that right before Brent comes on here with the Small Business BC Recovery Grant information. We want to assist as many companies and individuals as possible apply for these loans. Contracts have been adopted to facilitate these loans. So if you have a contract or a lease agreement, for example, paying $4,000 a month for a lease, you only have to submit that contract. You don't have to submit all the invoices. The same with the invoices, just a copy of the contract showing that you're paying $4,000 a month for a lease. That will satisfy it. 4 times 12 is 48,000. So when you go through the website, it asks to upload the document. It asks what the dollar value is per month, per week, per day, per quarter, the incremental time for that contract, the amount, and then it automatically calculates it for you. So for example, if you had a lease agreement, you would upload your $4,000 lease document and you would indicate that that was per month. It will do the math for you automatically and calculate it into 48. If it's one contract showing for the whole year, you can just say it's a contract for $48,000 for a lease agreement. Upload the contract and you should have your approval within 2 to 3 weeks. Again, if you need help with any of this, reproducing invoices, clarifying contracts, reach out to your lawyer. We have lawyers that we can deal with to get those documents notarized. So sure, you can borrow. CRA says in bad times, assistance here, they're giving out money, but don't forget, 1/3 of that 60,000 is forgivable if you meet all the criteria. Where else are you going to get that? So of course we're going to borrow. We're encouraging everybody we know to borrow. And just to show you how much money has been doled out, over 2,600 businesses have been approved for the CEBA loans. That's $132 million. That was just last week. 1 week, $132 million. So we're almost just surpassed $30 billion, almost $800,000 loans since the program start. And they still have more money to give out. So if you haven't jumped on board yet, jump on board now. They will never be giving out money like this again. I don't think they'll be able to give out money for a long time of any amount after this. We're anxious to see how the tax rules are going to change. Here is a number. So if you have applied and you're having trouble or you're waiting on your loan and you haven't received an email back from Canada Revenue or the CEBA application department, you can call this number. They're only open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Their hours have been extended now, and I believe they do have either, because of the extended hours or additional staff, it's much easier to get through. You do have to leave a message, but they are calling back within 24 hours. We've had a few calls back last week and this week within 24 hours. So we know that you can leave the message and they will get back to you. We've never had anybody answer the phone directly. I believe it all goes through to a voicemail. Be sure and have the following information handy when you do call this number to inquire. Have your business number and a copy of your last filed tax return, especially Schedule 125. That is the income statement portion of the T2. Don't have your working papers, don't have your QuickBooks or your Simply Accounting open. Make sure and have a copy of your corporate tax return because they will ask for a line number. If you can't answer or identify that line number they're asking for, they will say, sorry, you have to call back, and then you'll be stuck. We've been stuck. We've had some cases where they've indicated a certain line number and we're looking at the actual CRA assessment online and the number didn't match. So I said, hey, you must be looking at the wrong number. And he said, well, what other numbers do you have? I just started reading off. There was about a dozen numbers on the income statement. So he said, yes, that's the number. It didn't match the line number he was asking for. So make sure and have that information ready. And of course, have a pen and paper and always take the agent's name. When we call Canada Revenue, we always ask for the agent's name. They're required to give it to you by law. If you've ever called Canada Revenue, they always answer with their agent ID number. Agent 103465 ONT, how may I help you? You can ask for their name as well, but make sure and take their agent number and their name. That way, if you get cut off accidentally, you can call back. If somebody gives you the wrong information, you'll be able to file a grievance. We can help you with all of that. Okay, off to the next slide. I'm going to try and get Brent on the line here. But while I'm doing that, up on the screen is the Dollar Tax Club logo. This is our brand new marketing initiative for late in 2020 here for 2021. dollartaxclub.ca. Tune in here to the Dollar Tax Club, log in, check the video out. Video by yours truly, just talking about all the benefits of the Dollar Tax Club. Register now. It's only $1. We're donating $3 for every new member in 2020 and 2021. $3 for every new member we're donating to the local food bank. For those of you that don't know me, I was an accountant, started out my career there in the late 90s, early 2000s as the accountant for the Greater Vancouver Food Bank. Still know quite a few people there. Met the new executive director, indicated we were starting this program. He said, well, how can we help? I said, no, how can we help? So we're donating $3 for every dollar that comes in. And then the food bank takes those $3 and triples it again. So your dollar is actually going to help support the Greater Vancouver Food Bank with a $9 food purchase. So that's what we're doing this year. dollartaxclub.ca. Jump on there. Just take the link. Very easy to remember. If you need help, here it is. MrTaxes.ca/meeting. Book a call. Operator standing by. We're booked up right now, late January, about a week in advance. You have our phone number. Feel free to try and get through, but we will book a call with you. Reach out to one of our emails available on the website, or just click the screen here with the QR code and you'll be able to book a call right through there. We're booking 25-minute initial calls. Brent may take one of those calls. Michelle might, maybe Jenny, Marion, Mayumi, one of the team, myself. We're answering all calls that come through that are being booked, and we'll get you started on the application process so that you can get access to your $60,000. At the beginning, we played a short video from CRA, how to register for your My Account. We told you how important that is. If you're going to be applying, we're going to show you all the documents you're going to need. Guaranteed 90% of you do not have all of these documents, probably 95%. You'll have to reach out to your accountant. If you're trying to do this on your own, get registered with your My CRA account. That will allow you then to register for the business account with CRA. And what we'll do now, we'll just play this short video here. We get Brent, our special guest tonight, on the call. CRA My Business Account. Check it out.
How to register for My Business Account. To get started, go to canada.ca/my-CRA-business-account and select CRA Register. To validate your identity, enter your social insurance number. Next, enter your postal code or zip code, date of birth, and an amount you entered on one of your income tax and benefit returns from the current tax year or the previous one. Then, select a delivery method for a CRA security code, which is required to gain full access to My Business Account. Depending on the delivery method you have chosen, you will be asked to confirm your current postal code or zip code, or enter your email address. The next step will be to create a CRA user ID and password. Then, select and answer 5 security questions. Review and agree to the terms and conditions of use by entering your password and selecting I agree. If you have chosen to have a CRA security code issued via email, you will now be asked to contact the CRA. Registration is now complete until you receive your code. Once you do, log in and enter it. Review and agree to the My Business Account terms and conditions of use. Then, provide your business number. You will now have full access to My Business Account.
So that video from CRA, pretty informative. We will send out the link if you request it. It's available on the CRA website. It's available on YouTube. We just link it to YouTube. We play it here on the webinar. You can watch it on the replay. But again, if you need help setting up your business account or My Account with CRA, it does ask you for some skill testing questions. One of the toughest ones is your date of birth. Make sure you put it in the right format. If you get that wrong, it will reject it. It doesn't tell you what's wrong. Some people can't figure that one out. Again, if you don't know the order to put in year, month, day, and you get the wrong format, it will reject it. But the toughest question to answer is the line numbers off of your tax return. So if you are looking for those line numbers, that's something we can help with pretty quick. One of my favorite slides, but wait, there's more. What more could there be? More than 60,000? Yes, the provincial government through Small Business BC here in British Columbia is doling out even more money. So the small and medium-sized business recovery grant being facilitated through Small Business BC and through third-party facilitators. And guess what? MrTaxes.ca has been approved as a third-party facilitator. So if you're needing help with not only the CEBA, the Canada Emergency Business Account, but you need assistance applying or you didn't know about this grant, This is different than the CEBA loan. This here is a grant based on a business plan, just superficially. We're going to give you an overview of what's required, minimum application criteria, small and medium-sized business recovery grant. God, that's a lot of words, but it's worth it. It's $30,000 grant for all businesses that are approved at a minimum, and up to an additional $15,000 if you meet the tourism criteria. So we'll talk about all of that here in a moment. But first, how the program works. So again, $10,000 to $30,000 are available to small and medium-sized businesses in BC impacted by COVID-19. An additional $5,000 to $15,000 available for tourism-related businesses. The first step is to apply for the funding online. So just do a simple search for Small Business BC Recovery Grant or BC Recovery Grant. A Google search will turn that up very quickly. If you're eligible, if you meet the eligibility criteria, then you'll be asked to develop a recovery plan. So the first step is to apply for the funding. If you're approved, they will ask you if you're interested in having the assistance of a facilitator. Now, you're going to see that the criteria is fairly straightforward, but the application process is pretty daunting. We're accountants. We have a big team here. For us to get through some of these applications has been pretty daunting. We spent up to 15 hours on some of these applications. Worth it for 15 to 30,000 for the minimum grant, but up to 45,000 if the tourism top-up is approved. So once your plan is submitted and reviewed, then grant funding will be distributed. We've had companies receive it in as little as 2.5 weeks that we've assisted in applying for this. The eligibility criteria, so majority of shares owned by one or more BC residents. So that's a majority. That means 51% or more. If it's 50% or less, that's not a majority, is it? So if it's a spouse that is not a resident, it would not qualify. So just make sure that your share structure is changed. We can help with all of this again if you're needing assistance. And the business has been operating in BC for at least 18 months. They've changed that. It was 3 years. Application criteria was 3 years, but they have changed that now to 3 months. So the primary operations are located and conducted in BC. So the business is registered in BC, currently pays BC taxes, and is currently operating. So Brent is in the standby room. He's managed to tackle that technology hurdle again, another week. Congratulations, man. We're just going to finish up here with the eligibility criteria. So the business has had positive cash flow for the last financial statement prior to February 1st, 2020. So this is an important note here. You have to have detailed financial records at a minimum on a monthly basis. So the importance of bookkeeping is going to play a key role, but don't worry. If you have not done that, we can retroactively facilitate this for you. Again, we are a facilitator for these small business BC loans. And the best part about it, absolutely free, doesn't cost you a penny. The business has experienced revenue losses compared to the same period in 2019 of at least 70% at some point during March or April 2020, and at least 30% at some point during May 20 to present. That's a combination there. So it's not and or, it's and. They're not mutually exclusive. So let's see, is Brent able to pop his screen back on? There we go. There's Brent.
Hello.
Let me get my welcome, Brent. Hey, you got the technology figured out. Let me maximize betting here, get Brent in full view. So Brent's coming to you live from world headquarters here at MrTaxes Canada, here on the West Coast. Glad you got that technology figured out, Brent, because you played a key role in helping some of the companies here that have come through the program that have reached out to us for assistance. What we'll do, maybe before we jump to the next slide, Brent, as I go to the next slide here, let's talk about the last one. One of these clients reached out to us to let us know that they were approved. Pretty excited. They received, maybe just tell us how much, what the process was without giving away any confidential information, what the process was like and how long it took to get that loan for the client.
Yeah, I mean, this is back before Christmas. We met with the business, and they were able to. We met with them and went through a bunch of details in terms of what their business was like prior. And
keep going, Brent.
Okay,
we can hear you.
I'm hearing myself back, and it's looping the sound. So I'm not sure exactly, but no, we were able to help them with get their finances straight in terms of things that they
turn your speaker off, Brent, then you won't get the echo.
Speaker, okay.
Just don't mute yourself. Little speaker button on the bottom
there.
tray
Can you hear
of
me?
your computer. Oh, that's good. It's not echoing now.
Yeah, so we met with this this business out in the local area here, and they had a number of employees, and they did experience a big loss in revenues due to the COVID shutdown of some of their clients. In fact, it wasn't even the problem with their business; it was their clients that had to stop ordering things from them. So that had knock-on effects to them. And a number of larger clients, their work was concentrated with a few larger clients and some smaller ones too. But we met with them and kind of brainstormed some ideas that might get them some more business that could help them through the next little while. Some ideas that they could market their business in terms of online marketing and getting out there and providing services that were really needed at this time. So we came up with a recovery plan that made a lot of sense, that if implemented, they're going to stay afloat. And pretty excited when I found out that they were able to get $20,000 that they never have to pay back from the provincial government. They've been in business a long time, and they're going to be in business a lot longer. You know, they're a worthy recipient, and I'm sure there's lots of businesses out there just like them that could benefit from the same kind of help, both with us on the business planning side, and then being able to put their finances together into a form that worked in the government framework. It was quite exciting to help them out. They're a nice
local business
group of people.
Yeah, nice local business. So great success story there. How many hours did you put into working on the plan part? I know you did. I know you did 5 or 6 hours at least on working on that plan. We put another, I believe, close to 10 hours working on the financial statements because they did not have that completely documented. You know, they didn't have a proper GL, a proper ledger, no proper journal entries. They were just ad hocing it every month to file their GST. The importance of proper accounting records. But with our help, it didn't cost them anything. They didn't have to foot any of the bill for this. So if you are watching this webinar, just, you know, don't be daunted at this list of accounting requirements. T2, Schedule 50, T1, T2125, PD7A, payroll and check runs, included in the following documents: balance sheet, income statement. It sounds like a disclaimer on one of those medicine commercials. You know, in the past 24 months, have you experienced coughing, COVID-like symptoms, etc.? No, none of that. But this accounting stuff for us was a little bit daunting. And we do this day in and day out. So the government is putting some heavy criteria because these are grants, but they're also paying facilitators to assist with these. In our office here, we had a few people working on with different companies on the business plan side. So that was Brent's role, working with the team on that side. Joseph and myself, CPA on board here with us, helped on the accounting side to help get all this documentation in order. This isn't even a comprehensive list of what they asked for. This is just what's listed on their website. They kept coming back for more information. The rules have been relaxed a little bit, but for the most part, this is a minimum what you need to apply for the BC Small Business BC Recovery Grant Program. Brent, of course, helped out with the action plan, Captain Action here at Mr. Insurance. That didn't even crack a smile out of him. And the best part about it, absolutely free. It does not cost you anything. You can reach out to your own facilitator, but if they're not approved by Small Business BC, they won't be compensated. So just remember, if you have your own accountant or somebody working on your business plan or your recovery plan, bring us in to assist. We can then employ them to come on board as part of the team. And then we can bill for those hours. We have a maximum we can bill for. We've gone over that in some cases, but we didn't have a problem doing that because we felt that those businesses were worthy. And again, a couple extra hours to help a business get 30, upwards of 45 grand for the Small Business BC Recovery Grant. It was worth that couple extra hours to see, you know, that money coming through. Our whole thing, we can't put our mission statement on our website, but it's all about getting money from the government. Or paying as little as possible. And if we can help you do that, all the members of the team here as well, Anything to add on that, Brent? Yes. Oh no, I like that. Yes, that's the standard response. Yes, we want you. So if you are wanting to apply, that's not a US flag on his hat. I couldn't find a Canadian one for the webinar. We want you to apply. We want you to tap into that money. So this is a way to book a meeting with us. Book a call now. Operator standing by. Jenny and Joseph all the way from the Philippines taking calls. No, it's not outsourced. They are local, but we'll get you on the phone with Brent, we'll try and match you up with the right person here on the team, just so you can get started. It's worth a complimentary call. And again, the Small Business BC Recovery Grant application, the government is paying us. With the CEBA loans, though, we do have an offer for that. We are charging $500, but we guarantee that you will get the CEBA loan. We didn't mention that earlier, but that's the offer that we make. So if you do call about the CEBA loan, but if you're not approved, it's 100% refundable. So you cannot lose. If you are approved, we credit that $500 towards any of our services to April 30th of 2021. So you cannot lose by applying for any of this government funding. Again, a couple of the other funds that are available from the government, the CEWS, the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, the rent subsidy, CERB on the personal side, CBA or CERB, CRB, on the personal side, up to $18,000 on the personal side. If you qualify, again, reach out to us, see if you qualify. We can help facilitate in any of those government programs. And that was our special offer. Get involved with the Dollar Tax Club if you want to get in on more of these webinars. We talk about tax tips, tax tricks, secret loopholes, doors that are closing with CRA, government funding, anything related to finances. You'll see them on these webinars. Front row access to all the webinars through the Dollar Tax Club. Again, it's only $1. Here we go. This week's top tax strategy. So Brent, top 3 ways to take advantage of corporate-owned life insurance to save on taxes. Just quickly, we want to get to the Q&A here. So retained earnings out tax-free. How does that work with insurance?
Yeah, you can set up a life insurance policy with the corporation as the owner, and it allows you to accumulate money within the policy tax-free, because the government taxes you pretty highly on any return on your passive income. So you can
inside the corporation, it is in fact double. So Brent may not be up to speed on the tax rates because we're on the right side here on the tax side. Brent's on the insurance side. You are 100% correct, Brent. It's 100% double the tax rate on passive income. Number 2, premiums are tax deductible, but conditions apply. What are some of those conditions?
Yeah, so why not let your company pay for it rather than you personally? You need the protection anyway.
A lot of people talk about corporate write-offs. What can I write off in the company? If you already have life insurance and you have a corporation and the life insurance is not owned by your corporation, reach out to us. We got a brilliant strategy to be able to move that policy in and actually double dip on the shareholder loan that goes in from the draw or the loan against the policy before it goes in. And then you're able to draw that equal amount out, usually up to 90% of the cash value in the policy tax-free from your corporation. Simple strategy. If you haven't been practicing this, reach out to us and we can help facilitate it. 1-2 punch. Brent works on the insurance side to get the policy structured properly, get it into the corporation. We work on the tax side through your corporation, make sure that the shareholders are set up properly and that money goes into the proper accounts on the GL so that when you are audited, Canada Revenue knows exactly what they're looking at and you'll be pretty much bulletproof for an audit. Last one, Brent, share purchase upon death of the shareholder.
A lot of people have businesses where they're multi-generational, and this allows them to move the shares to the next generation without paying any tax. So, I mean, if you set up another way, there's always capital gains to be paid. So this helps all the way through from the beginning when they tax you right to the end, when you pass it along to your kids or your grandkids.
Yeah, there's that. One of the other things that I was thinking about, Brent, is, you have 2 shareholders and they each have a spouse and one passes away. Now you're automatic partners with the surviving spouse, your ex-business partner's surviving spouse. And sometimes you don't have the money to pay that surviving spouse out. So you inherit, not only do you lose your business partner, but you inherit somebody you don't want to do business. So a great way to fund that. Limitations apply in all these strategies. Brent's email is at the bottom, brent@mrinsurance.ca. I don't do it justice.
I like it.
Pretty simple to remember, brent@mrinsurance.ca. Let's see, what are we going to do here now, Brent? Future webinars, we got all kinds of tax tips coming up here. We got a full slate for tax season, special guests coming on. Go to facebook.com/PG/MrTaxes/events. That's just our Facebook page on the events. Set up a free tax review. The link's at the bottom. Just reach out to us. Reach it in the chat area if you don't have our contact information. You know where we are. You got on the webinar unless you just happened to bump on by accident, but you must have registered somewhere. You have a return email showing you the link for the webinar. All our contact information is in there. Testimonials, we love testimonials. We appreciate them. We actually reciprocate our generosity when you do give testimonials. So this is a simple link here where you can give the testimonials. And make sure when you do give this testimonial, put your name in there, put your business in there. No blatant advertising, but put it in there so we know who you are, so we can reciprocate the generosity. It's a chance for you also, because that page on QuickBooks develops Intuit software, which is our tax software of choice, receives anywhere from 25 to 50,000 hits a month. So post your information on there. Give us a testimonial. Give us your honest opinion, what you think of the webinars. If you want to see more ideas, tips, tricks, etc. Simple link there for testimonials. Q&A. We'll take Q&A probably off air because we're running short on time. Anything you want to finish up with, Brent?
No, I think you covered a lot of it pretty good. There's all kinds of ways we can work, for instance, in the corporate life insurance space to help people all the way through their business cycle.
And with these loans and grants, we can help structure them, not only on the personal side. If you've ever been thinking about using one of these insurance tax strategies, these loans and the grants might be a way to kickstart that. There's a way to actually leverage that money to maximize the impact. You may get a $30,000 grant, but if you can restructure your personal insurance policy, flow that into the corporation, you might be able to get double that amount out, facilitate it instead of the 30,000, compound that to 50 or 60 right away. And think about what that could do for your business to get you over the next couple months until the government releases some of these restrictions, gets business back to normal, back to the old normal. Marion says she's watching on her phone, so we'll just give a shout out to Marion Larocque here with MrTaxes.ca. She's our resident expert on disability tax credits, been doing it for over a dozen years. We'll have that webinar coming up in 2 weeks. So watch the Facebook page, watch the replay, share this information with everybody. And we will see you next week on the Dollar Tax Club member weekly webinar. Thanks, everyone.
This is Mike. Mike likes to do things the easy way. Recently, Mike read that My Account, the Canada Revenue Agency's secure portal, lets Canadians across the country view and manage their tax and benefit affairs quickly, conveniently, and securely, all online. Mike thinks this seems like a good idea. So, he found a quiet spot on his lunch break and engaged the power of technology to help him manage his tax and benefit information. With a few clicks of his mouse and a few strokes of his keyboard, Mike began registering for My Account. Mike started at the My Account webpage at canada.ca/my-CRA-account. Mike has the option of choosing from 2 ways to register for My Account. He can register and create a CRA user ID and password, or he can log in using a sign-in partner. Mike uses online banking on a regular basis, so he chooses to use the sign-in partner option. He logs in with the information that he already uses with his bank, making his experience that much easier. After entering a few details to ensure his privacy is protected, like his social insurance number, date of birth, current postal code, and an amount from his last tax return, Mike has instant, secure access to some of his tax and benefit information, like the status of his tax return and a summary of his notice of assessment. He can also sign up for online mail. Within a week or two, Mike will receive a letter in the mail from the CRA with his CRA security code. Mike can also call the CRA to get his code earlier. Once Mike enters this code, he will have full access to even more information through My Account, including details about his tax returns and benefits. Now, Mike can do everything from updating his address, to checking on the status of his refund, to printing proof of income, to setting up direct deposit and much more. He can also log in and check some of his information on the go using the My CRA web app. Now that's easy. If Mike used his security code to fully register for My Account, he can also use the CRA's autofill My Return service when he files online using certified software that includes that feature. Autofill My Return automatically fills in certain parts of his income tax and benefit return. What could be easier? But Mike thinks the best thing about My Account is that he can access the information he needs anytime, anywhere. Perfect for someone with such a busy life. Make your life easier and be like Mike. Sign up for My Account. You'll have access to the CRA's full suite of self-service options and see firsthand how the CRA is delivering on its commitment to client-focused service. Find out more at canada.ca/my-CRA-account.